Yeah, you mentioned girls as an inspiration for writing, but also there were some songs, they seem to come from very daily adventures, like sitting in an airplane or in a hotel room.
Sure.
Is that something that you, does it work like a diary maybe for you? At what moment, were they actually written in a plane or written in a hotel room, these songs?
Yes, those two songs were, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, it's like you never know when inspiration is gonna hit, you know? Like that song Airplane that was also a guitar part that
yeah, don't do it.
That was a guitar part that our bass player actually had written years ago also. And it was just kind of, we all loved it, and we had just been sitting around, and you know, I was always thinking too, oh, I gotta write a melody to this or a lyric to this. And you know, was on an airplane, kind of falling asleep and just humming that, you know, in my head, and you know, just started putting words to it, and it seemed to be cool, so that became the song, you know. Not really rocket science, just inspiration at that moment, and that's all it was.
What's for you the moment when inspiration strikes? Can it happen any time, or is it for you when you're, what environment do you have to be in?
It happens so little for me, so...
Why do you think?
I don't know. I don't do well sitting down and trying to force out a song. A lot of times it'll be like, you know, out, like, you know, either walking somewhere and just get a good lyric, like one lyric, or like I said, you'll just be hitting those right chords that kind of play, and you just happen to stumble on the melody.
Yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, it sounds right to your ear, and then it just kind of steamrolls from there, or snowballs, where you're like, oh, I've had this idea, you know. I don't know, it's strange.
Yeah, what I was wondering, I assume that most of the songs you play, they start on a guitar.
Yeah.
And in the record, they're all pretty, or at least some of them were pretty, yeah, bombastic or used.
Sure.
A lot of things get added. Is that something you did for a conscious decision, or do you think sometimes the songs always need that?
I mean, it depends. You know, a song like Hey There Delilah, it just felt like it didn't need much. You know, it felt like it should be, you know, the song, was like from me to someone else, so it just seemed to fit better like that. Whereas some songs, like you know, a song we played today, Welcome to Mystery, the theme and the lyrics of the album is all about escaping and you know, imagination and everything. So a song like that needs a lot of that color and the flourishes in the production, and to be, you know, to feel large and epic. So,
but is there never somebody in the studio or one of you guys that says, well, maybe you should like less is more a little bit, or is it?
I mean, you know, we try a number of things with every song, and you know, just for what the song calls for is what we try to give it. You know.
How's it now? Are you already working on some? Are there some new ideas already going a little bit?
I mean, there's definitely some ideas that I've, you know, kind of written and lay down little voice memos on my phone, you know, grab a guitar and demo it up, but nothing too
focused yet.
Yeah.
But could you say, looking at the albums you made, are the albums always a reaction to the previous one, or is it not?
Not necessarily. I think it's just kind of a reflection of what's going on with, you know, in our lives or in our heads, you know, at that moment.
And is there a line you can draw a little bit, or like, what is, when you look back now maybe at an earlier album, do you relive maybe when listening to it yourself what was going on at the time?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, especially like Stop, our first album, for me that was a complete diary, you know, going through a relationship and a breakup, and I was writing songs, you know, every week it seemed like about this girl. So that album for me is definitely, you know, definitely sends me right back to those moments.
What album do you have the strongest sense with, or the strongest, or what do you think that he has? Maybe
an album.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's tough. I had a couple of personal moments on the last record.
Yeah.
Going through a divorce that made me, you know, write a certain way on some tracks, and so yeah, playing those songs can always kind of just transport you back and remember. Sometimes it's miserable because it's a really hard time. But
what way did the divorce trigger that ideas in you?
You know, divorce is crushing. You know, like I didn't want to get divorced, so the song I wrote about it was a really like sorrowful, longing song. You know, it was basically like a "I want you back" kind of song. But so anytime you step up to the mic and you start singing those lyrics, it's like, holy crap! Oh yeah, I remember what that moment was like. And yeah, I mean, it's sometimes you can get up on stage and go through the motions, and sometimes you can just be moved to yourself by your own lyric. You know.
Totally.
What was the reaction you had from your ex-wife to the song? Did she hear it?
She did hear it. It's tough to say. We had a really distanced relationship through that whole period, and only now are like kind of back on really friendly terms again. So I wasn't really interested in you know, after a while, in her opinions, but I don't know. She's been to a couple shows and seen that song and said she loves that song. But
I mean, yeah, because could you maybe, to conclude it, to sum it up, say that an unhappy love life leads to better songs?
Unhappy?
Or unhappy, maybe, like
think so,
uncertain,
yeah.
maybe that's the better word.
it's
Yeah,
peaks
when you're-
and valleys
when
that,
you're-
that make for good songs.
When you're happy, I think you're not really inspired to grab a guitar and write about it because you're enjoying the moment, you know, you're living in it. Whereas when you're sad, you kind of feel like you have no one to talk to, or, you know, no way out except to grab it and, you know, just kind of channel your feelings into a song. So yeah.
Thank you very much
Unhappiness.
for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck with it.